Hi and welcome to the first of Gazbeard's battles of 2017. Happy New Year to you all. This time it's Wednesday, it's World of Warships, and we're going to take HMS Campbeltown for our first cruise.
What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor?
Enemy destroyer blown up. Enemy destroyer sunk. Enemy cruiser foundered.
Torpedoes to port.
HMS Campbeltown entered service in 1919 and was transferred to the Royal Navy from the US Navy near the outbreak of World War II. She's probably most famous for the raid on Saint-Nazaire, where she was disguised as a German destroyer and escorted by motor gunboats up the channel to the port, where she was rammed into the dock gates and later exploded, destroying the dock and denying the Germans an Atlantic coast port for their largest battleships. In World of Warships, she was the second British ship added to the game, after HMS Warspite. And the battle you're going to see today was actually my first voyage in her, although since then I've had a few games, and you'll notice in the title set that she appears twice, killing destroyers. And you'll notice from this screenshot that the captain now has 7 skill points. So, the battle we're going to watch was a tier 4 battle. Campbeltown is a tier 3, and there were only 2 tiers in the battle, so it was nice matchmaking. I do apologise for the sound quality in parts of this video, and for the choppy video at different parts of this video. The new computer that I bought last summer after we had the lightning strike that fried all my existing systems is just not handling replays and recording as well as the previous computer, even though it's a much higher spec, and I feel that I'm probably going to have to change it and get another one. So here's the Campbeltown, she's off, and I'm going to do one of my favourite destroyer tactics, in that I'm going to head to the extreme flank of the map and try to deal with any ships that are in a similar strategy, and then get round the back and get at the carriers. When you have a battle such as this one, where you have several destroyers on each side, I do feel that at least one destroyer should try to get those carriers, because if you can take them down early enough, then you can give your battleships a distinct advantage. While their battleships are still being harassed by our carriers, ours are free to operate at will anywhere on the map without the enemy having air cover to tie them down. And if you've ever been in a battleship where you're getting harassed continuously by bombers and torpedo bombers, you'll know exactly what I mean, and hopefully you'll recognise when a destroyer is making a flank run to get round to the carriers, and they're not doing it solely for selfish reasons, they're actually doing it to help you out. Now, we're not quite dead centre on the map, but we've already spotted that some enemy ships are coming around the east flank. They've obviously spawned closer to it than we did, and looking at the mini-map, I've got another destroyer sailing in company with me, and to the north of me there's a cruiser coming down to support me, and it looks like we've got 4 enemy ships in front of us, at least one of which is a battleship. But we've also already got 3 squadrons of enemy torpedo bombers that are to the north of us. They've managed to swing round very, very fast. I'm not sure whether it was connection issues on the computer or what, but it looks like I actually joined the game quite late on this one. This replay is about 3 months old, so I can't remember the specifics of it. So here's our first customer. I've decided that at this range I'm going to start taking some pot shots at him. I want to try and get those ships that are coming around the east flank to think again and maybe get 1 or 2 of them to turn around with the general premise that, uh-oh, there's destroyers up there. I think we'll find that it doesn't actually work. Sometimes it does. The mere presence of a destroyer on the flank will quite often make less experienced captains do a U-turn and sail away. And I'm going to try for an early torpedo strike on this cruiser that's coming up round the other side of that island. The Campbeltown's torpedoes have got a 7-kilometre range, which in Tier 3 is incredible. Most destroyers at Tier 3 only have either a 4 or a 5-kilometre range. And the Campbeltown has got the speed that you more normally associate with a Tier 6 ship. And again, she's only at Tier 3. Her main weakness is her guns. She has 3 guns, 1 on each side and 1 in the bow. They are positioned such that you can never get all 3 guns firing at the same time. Most of the time you can barely get 1 gun to fire. If you're lucky, sometimes you can get 2 guns to fire. However, they are very good guns for their tier, and they're quite accurate. They deliver reasonable punch, and they have quite a high trajectory for getting over low-lying islands when you're lying in ambush. They reload. They're a little slow on the reload. I would like them to load faster, but they're small caliber guns, and they're still quicker than battleship and cruiser reloads, so we can't knock them too much. Now, you noticed me drop smoke there and turn away, get out of spotting from the ships that were throwing quite a lot of fire at me. They did knock out my engine, and I'm coming back across now to help our other destroyer, who fought a Sterling rear guard, allowing me to get away and get repaired. And we've got a cruiser and a battleship to deal with, and I think there's a 3rd cruiser somewhere south of them. So this battleship up ahead, the ideal situation would be to put some torpedoes into him, severely cripple him and gun him down, or to just outright sink him with the torpedoes. Now, you'll notice a cardinal sin here. I'm firing torpedoes from behind an ally, but he's already turned away from the path that the torpedoes are going to take. Now, Campbeltown carries 3 torpedoes on each side, and if you want to get 6 fish in the water, you've got to swing your ship around, as I'm doing here. The advantage to that is if the target changes course, by the time you've got your ship turned around to bring the other torpedo tubes into play, he should have settled on the new course. And we all joke about battleship drivers not knowing how to turn. I'm finding that that's not essentially the case. It does happen, yes, but most battleship drivers know not to steer a steady course when there's destroyers in the vicinity. And that one thought he was being clever by turning away, dodging my first set of torpedoes. The second set, because of the delay due to having to swing the ship around, caught him on his new course when he thought he was safe, and the second set of 3 all got him, and took him down with a devastating strike. Now, we're doing quite well so far. We've already done roughly 5 times our hit points in damage, and the golden rule that I have in both World of Warships and World of Tanks is that every battle, as a minimum, an absolute flat minimum, I want to do my own HP in damage to the enemy, which means that I've then pulled my weight. Everything after that is increasing my player rating and obviously the rewards from the battle, both in terms of game credits and experience for the ship and for the captain, or for the tank and the crew in World of Tanks. So we've got this trailing cruiser that's making a run for it, the Kuma. Unless I can bounce him, I don't want to get too close to him. Cruisers are the anathema for destroyers, and he will very rapidly sink me. The Campbeltown doesn't have a lot of hit points anyway, and I'm already on half health, so I don't want to be tangling with a cruiser. However, there is a cruiser behind me who's already engaged him and has received some return fire, so while the Kuma's attention is distracted, I'm going to risk a few shots at him just to get him running away a bit more happily. He's already close to extreme range. If I hit him, it's a bonus, but I don't think I will. However, almost due south of me, a carrier popped up momentarily, only for half a second or 3/4 of a second. He popped up on the battle screen in front of me, so I know he's down there somewhere. I've popped the speed boost. I'm going to get after him. Remember, as I said at the start of the battle, the tactic that I'm using is to do a wide flank and get to the back of the map and get rid of those carriers and give our battleships a bit of breathing space. However, looking at the mini-map as we run across this big open ocean, our battleships have gone hard camping and our carriers are under pressure from the enemy destroyers. One of them is already down, and there's the second one down, and a clear sky award for the destroyer that did it. So they've managed to do already what I'm trying to do, and it looks like most of our team were just unable to stop them from pushing up that west flank, even though we've already destroyed 2 ships on the east flank and caused a 3rd ship to run from the east flank across to the west, and as yet he won't even have joined in the fighting over there in the west. Now there's the torpedo bombers in the air, which tells me that the carrier is moving westwards, so change of course to start getting on an intercept path to get across and get him. Now remember, I've only had a glimpse of one carrier. I don't know where the other carrier is, which is why I'm swinging so wide parallel to the south edge of the map here, to try and get spotting in case he's one of those carrier captains that thinks he can camp on the white line and just remain unspotted for the whole match. So there we are, there's the carrier ahead of me. He's moving at a fair lick. My speed boost is starting to run out, but I should be able to catch him. I'm doing, I can do 35 knots without the speed boost, and I think he can do about 22, 23 knots. So it shouldn't take too long to catch up to him, and he's already coming into gun range. And although I don't really want to start shooting, he's also going to come into the range where he can spot me even if I'm not firing any moment now. So there's no harm in starting to get shots out. If I can get fires on him, he won't be able to get his planes in the air. And there was a fire there, but it looks like he burned his damage repair kit, his damage repair party. So if I can get another fire on him, he's going to continue burning, and when I get close enough to get torps into him, if I get flooding on him, he won't be able to fix that either. And between those two sets of circumstances, we should be able to get him down. There's the other carriers just popped up as well, so they were both running to join their main fighting ships, and I'm hoping that those torpedo bombers are not aimed at me, as no dive bombers aimed at me by the look of it. Yeah, there you go, hit me, set me on fire, so I'm going to have to pop my damage repair party, get a set of torps in the water, and swing it round to bring the other tubes to bear. And my AA is popping off, so the second carrier must be sending planes at me. So as soon as we get this second set of torpedoes away, we'll switch back to guns and try to get fires on him again. And notice how fast his health is evaporating here. It looks like the cruiser that's followed me across the map is opening up on him as well. And there we've got torpedo hits.
Engine boost deactivated.
I was sure we'd had a fire there, but it's gone out again. He must have a very fast, refreshing damage repair party. And the cruiser's pouring fire into him. It's from me. Campbeltown's guns don't do a lot of damage, which is why you really do have to fire HE and hope for the fire. That looks like the fire was started by the cruiser, so let's just keep putting shots into him and try and get the kill. And there he's gone. We didn't get it, the cruiser must have got it. That means that his airborne squadrons now are commandless, and I only have one carrier's worth of aircraft to worry about. And oh crap. One of their battleships came back to deal with me. Oh, it's just a shame we don't have any surface ships still active up in the north. Otherwise, that would have been a big pressure off them. And it looks like a cruiser's come back as well. So they must have left the destroyers up there to do the capping. Let's get a set of torpedoes away in the direction of that battleship. He's turning already. Time to drop some smoke, go hidden, get a chance to catch my breath, try and avoid some of this incoming fire. There's another engine damage. And of course this would have to happen while I've got a speed boost running. Sorry, not a speed boost running,
Smoke screen set.
a smoke screen running, because I wanted to get a nice wide smoke screen to hide behind, and it's going to be quite a tight one. I've got to turn in really tight. Oh crap, there's a cruiser and a destroyer across there coming for me, and the third ship that I can't quite, the fourth, they're all here, look, 3 destroyers and a cruiser over there, and a cruiser and a battleship to the north of me on the other side of the smoke screen, and there was only one way that was going to end.
What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What